In 30 seconds, you will be witness to one of the greatest online events in the history of, well, online events. Descript proudly brings to you a topic that you deeply care about and whose name is the title of this online event. I'm Don. I am not your host. I am an overdub stock voice included for free with Descript. So, now, let's meet someone who actually works here.
Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Harvey Jiroudek, and I'm a customer success manager and product specialist here at Descript. And today is all about looking and sounding your best with our screen recorder. And now to just take a quick step back, for those of you that are just getting familiarized with Descript, what is it? What is this thing that we do? So Descript is a collaborative audio and video editor that allows you to edit just like you would with a Google Doc. And so today's focus is very pointed. We're going to be focusing on our screen recorder tool. And the best thing about this is that it's actually free for teams to use. So there's a number of ways that the screen recorder can be used depending on various use cases. So you can use it for product and sales demos. You can, for customer support teams, use it to capture bugs, personalize videos for customer success, for support. You can also use it to create online learning content. So if you're a training and learning team, this is a great way to capture a presentation through a PowerPoint, spruce it up, add some visuals, even add captions. And then at that point, you've got this amazing, accessible content that's ready for delivery. So today, it's going to be a little bit shorter than our traditional webinars. We're just going to dive right in, and let's take a look and see what we'll be focusing on. So we're going to take a look at how to record your video from both your desktop and your webcam in the Descript app. We're going to take a look at our quick editor, which is actually quite new, that was developed by one of our engineers that will be joining a little bit later. And then we'll take a look and see how we can actually make some additional edits directly in Descript. And then lastly, once you have your material, it's perfect, you've removed some ums and uhs, you've added some visuals, you've got your captions. How do you publish it? How do you get it out of Descript and get it ready for prime time? So I'm going to go ahead and back out of this presentation, and we're going to open up Descript, and we're going to take a look and see what we've got here. All right, cool. So what we're looking at is a Descript project. So if you're, like I said, if you're just getting familiarized with Descript, there's a number of ways to get content into Descript, and we can talk a little bit about that later. But we're here to talk about our screen recorder. So let's back out a little bit. I'm going to open up my Drive view here. I'm going to go to, all right. So first off, a couple of ways you can create a screen recording. From the Drive view, you can click on the New button here and choose screen or camera. So Descript allows you to record either your full desktop. You can select a specific range or the full screen version, or you can record a full webcam recording. And I see that I'm being joined by my awesome engineering friend, Brian. Say hello to Brian Clanton. Brian, so we're just taking a look at the general lay of the land in terms of how you can get started by creating screen recordings here in Descript. How about I turn it over to you, as Brian is actually, he was part of developing this feature, and we're gonna take a look at creating something here. How does that sound, Brian?
Sure, absolutely.
Excellent. And so as Brian shares his screen, for those of you that have questions, please leave those in the chat, in the YouTube live chat. We'll take questions towards the end and make sure that you know how to get up and running in Descript, and also, just start powering through some screen recordings. All right, so we've got our first question here. So I'm in the same boat. Want to know what apps this can replace and what time savings, qualities, improvements I can make. Great question. So there's obviously a myriad of different tools out there for screen recording. So what I personally like about Descript is that in addition to it being a screen recorder, so think of other tools out there like Loom, Camtasia, you can easily and quickly capture video. But then the magic of Descript is that once you've captured your desktop or a webcam recording, then you can start editing. You can start applying visuals. You can start applying captions. So Descript takes this holistic approach to both the creation and capturing process, but then allows you to start making edits and refining and getting it out of Descript. So Brian, how are we looking?
Looking good.
Awesome.
Great. So picking up where Harmony left off, there's multiple places where you can enter the screen recording flow. So one of the easiest is from this drive view. You can hit this button right here and click on screen or camera.
And hey, Brian, real quick, do you want to? It looks like you still have Restream open. Maybe we can just look at Descript. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me make it full screen here.
Cool.
Great. So I'm going to do that again, hit new, and then screen. And then I have my options here. Let me turn some of these on, though. So in this mode, I'm set up to create a screen recording. You can see that I have my camera turned on, so I have a little face bubble right here. So let's go ahead and trigger this and see what happens. So I'll hit the start recording button. And now I'm recording my screen, so I can go over here. I can make some clicks over here. I could move my screen out or change to different tabs. And all of what I'm saying right now is also being recorded. So let's take a look at that.
Awesome.
So as soon as I'm done with the recording, I get this little window right here, which we call the quick editor. And you'll see that I'm getting a notification to remove a filler word. So I guess I did pretty good for that little recording right there. And there's only one. But let's say that you say a lot of ums or uhs or likes. We have this really easy way for you to just click this button and they get cut out. So what just happened right there is the region of video where I said the is actually cut out. And we're left with what we had on either side. Can everyone hear that?
I wasn't hearing that, but I think what we're getting the gist of is that, once you capture video, you're presented with the quick editor. You can make some edits. Oh, great. And here's a question. So how do you end a recording? So once you kick off the recording, how do you stop it?
Great question. So there's two ways that you can do that. One of them is that you can click on this button right here again. So I'll make another recording real quick to show that. I'm going to hit here and start the recording. And then you'll notice that the icon appears right here with the stop button, so you can hit that.
Great.
The other way that
and Brian, go ahead. If you're on a PC, how do you stop it? Is it the same?
Yeah, great question. If you're on a PC, then it's going to be in the tray that's at the bottom of your screen. I wish I could just switch the screen over to PC instantly, but unfortunately I can't.
Okay, no worries.
The other way that you can do it is by using the shortcut right here. It defaults to Shift Command 2 on Mac, and you can also go into the preferences here and change that to whatever you want to be. If you've already installed Descript, you might have noticed that in your setup flow, we actually allow you to configure this shortcut. So that's what that does.
Nice.
Great. So while I'm in here, I removed the one filler word. I can go a bit further and actually use this window right here to make further edits. So let's say that I wanted to remove this section where I say I can make some clicks over here. All I need to do is select that text and then hit delete. And now, just like it works with the main Descript editor, that region is no longer a part of the video. So it skips right over.
Right. So it's removed that underlying audio and video by just simply removing the text, yeah?
Exactly, yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I can give this recording a name by going into the title, and let's call this test screen recording. And we'll show now why that name is important, because it's great for me to have this on my computer, but I'd really like to share this with other folks. And so I can hit this publish and copy link button. And now my screen recording is in the process of being uploaded, and it's also doing all of the cuts that I did with my editing. But I've got this link, which I can share immediately with other people. And as soon as it's done, as you can see, it's done here. We've got the video able to play back. So this is great because I can share this with, a coworker in Slack or a client over email.
Awesome. And with these pages, they work similarly in terms of when you're in Descript, that you can play through. It follows along in the interactive transcript, and you can make comments on these pages, right? Like if you needed to say, like, "Hey, should we make an edit here?"
Yes, you can.
Nice.
So on this page specifically, commenting is not enabled. Let me show that. Let's see. Actually, you know what? Might as well make another screen recording. So I'm going to make another screen recording. Yeah. Okay, so here's another test. I'm going to put in more filler words this time. So, okay, and now let's finish it.
Thanks. And while you're finishing that, Brian, we had a question from Nancy. When capturing screen recordings, what resolutions do we offer?
That's a great question.
Nice.
So officially, we support up to 1440. You can do 4K recordings as well, but there are some limitations that are listed on our website around what happens when you make edits. So I would stick to 1440 or lower. But the way that you can configure that is actually through the preferences here. So if I go into here and preferences, then you can see the default recording quality, and you have some options.
Nice.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. And then let's see, in a nutshell consulting, they have a question. How did you get the camera to show your face while you were recording? So that was in the recording setup configuration, yeah?
Right here. Okay. So I can turn this off if I wanted to, but I can also turn it on by clicking on that camera button. And it doesn't have to stick in that bottom left corner. I can move it around to be wherever I want it to be during my video.
Very cool. And if you have multiple cameras, yeah, you just use that drop down, or multiple microphones, use those drop downs there. Nice.
Yes.
And then Nancy has another question. Is there a countdown timer?
There is not a countdown timer. You'll hear a little beep as soon as the recording happens. Okay. But no, we do not have a countdown timer.
Nice. Okay, good questions. Awesome. So we've got our second screen recording here. How might we clean this up? So
first and foremost, I'm going to hit the remove button here to remove the filler words. Then I can make some other edits. Maybe I can just remove this part where I want to put in some more filler words. Let's see. So that seems fine. So what I wanted to show is the settings that we have here. So if we click, there's a couple of things that we can round with. One is the page access. So it defaults to unlisted, meaning that anyone that has the link can have access. But you can change this to be public, or also restricted if you're trying to send it to specific people, but not have just anyone in the world be able to just possibly type in the letters that are at the end of the page and be able to find it. So these are useful options to be aware of. There's also these settings right here around whether or not you want to show the transcript on the page or allow comments. So I'm going to toggle this one on, and now hit publish.
Right. So
and now
for
this
those
time,
Oh,
you see
sorry.
on the right that I have the ability to add comments, which I'll show when the page fully loads. Go ahead, Harmony.
Oh yeah, no, I was going to say that's great to see those options for security purposes. So it defaults to unlisted, but then if you want to make it public, or let's say you just have a quick screen recording you need to send to an executive team, it's a good idea to make it private.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. John has a question. How do I save it as an MP4?
Great question. How do you save it as an MP4? So you have some different options here. One thing that you can do is that with all of these pages, there's a download link. So you could go ahead and just click that and then get access to the MP4. Actually, that's probably the most straightforward way to do it. The other way that you can do it, though, is if you can access that screen recording. Let me just make another one real quick.
So I think what Brian is getting at. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you can go ahead. But I wanted to show this other feature where what I have been doing is creating recordings of the whole screen, but you can also do a region selection. So if you only wanted to have this part in the screen, instead of just like clicking, let me show that again. You can drag, and now you've got this region selected.
Nice.
So this is a test, and this one I'm going to download or get access to the MP4. So if you see this button on the bottom left here, it's called Edit in Descript. And this allows you to take this recording and pull it into the full editor. So if I click on Edit in Descript, now I've got a lot more options, and I can do a lot more fine tuning if I want. But really what I want to get at here is that the file will be under your project files. And so you could just open this or copy file into Finder. And that's another way to get access to the underlying MP4.
Nice. And then I think there's actually, let's say if I wanted to spruce this up and add some captions, some visuals, and then if I went up to share and export, I'd have some additional options too.
Yeah. So let's say that you wanted to go in here and you wanted to add a title at the beginning. So you could insert a title. Let me pull this up into here. Whoopsies.
And I saw, while you're doing that, Brian, I saw a question from Christopher Christopher makes a lot of how-to videos. So this is an awesome question. So in addition to recording your video, can you also record computer audio?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, let's get to that. So basically, that's another setting right here. So I had it disabled, but computer audio can be enabled by just clicking that.
Nice.
And that audio will just be included, and it will also be transcribed just like the speaking audio from your mic.
Very cool. Cool. So we've got a title in here in our project. So you could we could say, enter a title in for this recording, and then once we've cleaned it up via the script, at that point we could then export it. It sounds like. Nice.
And so we could hit the share button here and have our regular export options through Descript, so we could go directly to YouTube. We could just do a video export locally, export it as a GIF. We have different options here. So I'll just do video, and here's an MP4, and hit export. And now it's processing that, and we have the progress here in the bottom right.
Great.
So what I've done just now by hitting the Edit in Descript button, as opposed to the Publish button, now there is not a page putting out that people can use to access this video. I could go ahead and do that by hitting Publish, and that creates a page. But right now, this file is just on my computer, and I'm able to make the edits and export or later publish if I want to.
Nice. So I could take that MP4, I could upload that to my current CMS or a learning management system or wherever it is that folks are going to be consuming the content.
Yes.
I think I saw another question pop up from In a Nutshell Consulting. Still can't find where the settings are to show your face. So that in terms of configuring those settings, it shouldn't matter what plan you're on, right? You should be able to update those settings, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So all that we need to do is, if we're on Mac, we hit this Descript logo at the top. Remember that we can also do it from our drive view by hitting New and hitting Screen. And there's also one more place you can hit File and New Screen Recording, and that's going to take you to the same place. But the way that you show your face is this top option right here.
Just toggle that. Just click that on and off. Yeah, nice. And then as a reminder, if folks are on Windows machines, that'll be down in the bottom taskbar.
Right.
All right. Cool. Here's another question. So can I use this just for an audio podcast and add an intro and outro and then export as audio?
Yes, you can. If you are just recording audio, then our recommended workflow is for you to actually create a new project as opposed to a new video recording.
Yeah.
So you could just create a new project called, My Podcast. And then at the top right here, we have a record button that sets you up for audio.
Nice. And I think I saw a question. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we can answer that other question.
I think I saw another question too. So to Brian's point, there was a question around doing remote recordings. So if Brian were to select the record button again, you could have multiple speakers. Is that right?
If I were to select the which record button? The one in the
non-screen recorder record in the project.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you can configure multiple tracks here and have them be different inputs. I just only have the one, unfortunately. I guess I can add a computer audio track, but yeah.
Yeah, for the person that asked that question, there's a really helpful help article on help.descript.com. If you just search for recording remote recordings or remote interviews, you'll be able to find that. Nice. Cool. So in this case, Brian, you've recorded a little bit of audio here, and you can essentially clean it up the same way we were doing it with screen recordings. Does that sound about accurate?
Yep. So I can just delete this in the same way that I did in the quick editor. And then I would hit the publish button to be able to have a page similar to what I had there. So I'll call this my podcast. Okay, and I guess the media is still uploading here, so I can't quite publish yet, but soon I would be able to hit that publish button and create a page.
Very cool. Yeah, so for folks that are just tuning in, you can easily use a screen recorder to capture either your screen or presentations or full webcam recording. And then to Brian's point, if you're just looking to record some audio, just simply create a project and then hit the record button and you're on your way.
Absolutely. That raises a good point, though, because we didn't actually show that. Specifically that you can create screen recordings, but you can also do camera recordings. So if you wanted to have something where you're just talking directly to the camera, just hit that camera option and then start recording. And now you've got this video, the same that you could record a video in Photo Booth or some other app. But as soon as you're done, you have a transcript that you can edit.
Ah, very cool. So if I had created, let's say I recorded a screen recording that wasn't just a webcam, could I take what I just recorded, like this what you just did here, Brian, and like combine the two? Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's say that this becomes the beginning of my, I don't know, vlog. So maybe say this is part 1. I'm going to hit edit in Descript. so I can create a full-fledged project out of this. And now I've got this little piece, but I want to add more to it. So I'm going to hit the recording button, and I'll create a second camera recording where now I'm talking about more pieces of my blog, or maybe it's a different day and I have more things to say. So now I have another video. And I'm going to do something a little bit differently here. So if I click edit in Descript, that's going to create another project with just hit publish. That's going to share it out to folks. I don't want either of those options, the media that I have here, and put it into my. So I'm going to hit this copy to clipboard button. Okay. Now that didn't just copy the text, so copied the video and the audio underlying. And so I can just hit the new line here and paste. And now I've got my audio and video here as well. So when it gets to the end of this one video, it jumps to the beginning of the next.
Nice. So I could create a series of, intros and outros, and then just kind of essentially stitch them all together in one project. It looks like.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Let's see here. These are excellent questions, you guys. So I think at this point we've really shown like the crux of what the screen recorder is and how you can quickly make edits through the quick editor, pull additional material into existing projects. So we have Jay in the background here filtering in questions. So please keep putting the questions in the chat. Brian and I are here to answer questions directly to the screen recorder. If you have broader questions around Descript, we're happy to answer those too. So we've got another one here. Do you have shortcuts? Do you have a shortcuts PDF for commands available on Descript? Oh, this is a great question. Brian, do you want to show us where we can access like keyboard shortcuts?
Yes. So they're going to be down here in this bottom right in the Help Center. This is also where you can access all of our help documentation, but really what we want to look at right now is this bottom section, the keyboard shortcuts. And here it's got the whole list, which is great because even I can't remember them all. So it's great to have them right here, easily accessible.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I definitely don't have all of these memorized. There are a few key ones though that I think are probably worth mentioning. So Command K, that brings up our conductor. The conductor is really a way for you to tell Descript what you'd like to do. So if you want to add shapes, you want to add captions, you want to add a pan and zoom, a cue, you can just start typing in what you'd like to do. There's also 3 of my other favorite keyboard shortcuts are the Q, W, and E key. Brian, do you feel up for showing what those will do?
Yeah, absolutely. So something that we haven't talked about so far is that there can be some errors in the transcription. Interestingly enough, it looks like we just batted 1,000 and got them all correct right now. But let's pretend that something was wrong here. So we can select some text and we can press E, and that allows us to change this. So let's say instead of same, this actually said shame. I can go ahead and correct. And now the audio and video haven't changed, but the transcription has been fixed, basically, because sometimes there can be errors with our automatic transcription. There's some operations, though, that we want to do when we're fixing our transcript that we just want easy access to. So let's say that we just wanted to fix the capitalization of that. Let's say that we want to make recording be a capital R. I can hold Q, and you can see in my cursor that there is the capitalization icon there. And when I click, now it just toggles the capitalization. We also have the same with W, which allows you to change the punctuation at the end or remove it. Nice. So it cycles between a period, a comma, or just no punctuation at all. And then E is just a quick way of you getting into that transcription correction flow.
Awesome. Yeah, those are definitely good shortcuts. Here's another one from In a Nutshell Consulting. Want to know how this can be uploaded to YouTube or Facebook?
Great question. So we don't have a direct integration for Facebook right now. The way that you'd want to do that is by hitting share and then exporting the video and then uploading the video to Facebook. We do, however, allow you to upload to YouTube by creating a publish of your page. So it creates like a share page. And then we're able to take that media and then push it into YouTube. Let's see. So I'll give this a publish. And then we're able to sign in with our YouTube account. Let's see, I can do my personal one.
Right. So yeah, in terms of getting your content out of Descript, as we were just seeing, there's a number of ways you can do it. So, if you're doing a YouTube export, that's easy enough. Exporting an MP4. If you're uploading this to, let's say, a learning platform, you might want to export both the video and the transcript. That way they can go hand in hand. You can follow along in the transcript as you watch through the video.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Let's see here. From Alan, the screen recording allows you to find it in the project list. Otherwise, they're all named screen recording. Is that right, Brian?
Good question. So let me just, get in here real quick. Okay, that answers that question. Let me change this. Sorry. So after you finish screen recording, it's going to show up in this folder that you have here called screen recordings.
And how'd you get back here, Brian? Is it?
Yeah, great question. So I was inside of my project called vlog. Where'd it go? There we go. And if I go to this top right here and click on the Descript logo, that's going to take me back to the project browser.
Gotcha.
But let's say that I'm still editing in here and I don't want to close this window. I can do File and then open Drive View. And now I've got a new window with the Drive View. So in my Drive, there's the Drive workspace and the My workspace. The Drive workspace has all the projects that are shared across everyone on your Drive, which if it's a Drive with just you, might be just yourself. But the My workspace has private stuff that's only accessible to you on the Drive. And so we have a subsection called Screen Recordings, and that's where all the recordings that you make appear. So I'm going to hit New, and Screen Recording. And this is going to show up inside of my screen recordings folder when it's done. So let's see.
Nice. So it doesn't default by default. Once you've created something, it's important to name it. Otherwise, it's just going to default to screen recording.
Yep.
It's a good tip.
Well, yeah. So, and that's the interesting thing. It will try to get a sensible name based on the application that you're looking at. So you might have seen that when I created that recording, it called it Descript because that's what I had open on my screen. But if you're looking at Google Chrome, it'll take like the Chrome tab. So we try to have like an intelligent first name there, but really you should be naming it something that makes sense to you. Absolutely.
Perfect. Oh, this is a good one, Christopher. So does Descript let you move a project from the Drive workspace to My workspace?
Yes, you can. So if you go in here, I could take this project and I'm clicking on the three-dot menu that's on the far right here, clicking Move To, and then I can just go back up into My workspace and then hit Move. And now,
right. So if I've created something and I want it to be private, I can move it, just easily move it over.
Yes.
Nice.
And it is over here. It's just, I need to work on my organization in my workspace.
it's making its way. So that goes back to your point though around naming conventions. So that's that's definitely important. And what folks are seeing here is really like this reminds us of, kind of the Google Drive experience. So if you're on multiple drives, you can toggle back and forth between two different ones. So that's easy enough to move between your personal drive and any other drives you might be shared on. Let's see here. Christopher had a follow-up question. So he tried that and it wouldn't move. Is that because published pages from that project? So Brian, what do you think? Would there be any reasons why something might not move from one location to another?
It should be able to move. So we do have some restrictions where anything that's in your Drive workspace is shared among everyone that is on your drive. And so if you try to take something that is public to everyone on your drive and move it into your private workspace, then we might apply a restriction, but you wouldn't be able to move it by seeing the move button be grayed out and disabled. But if you hit move, then it should do the move.
Gotcha. Great, good tip. And if folks are still experiencing, if that is persisting, perfect. Head over to help.descript.com. You can also chat with us live by clicking on the question mark. We have an excellent support team. You can chat with us 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if in the moment you need some help, reach out to our team and they'll reach right back out to you. Nice. Excellent. And then it looks like questions have kind of tapered off a little bit. Brian and I will hang around for a few more minutes. Please go ahead and join our Discord community. This is where you can find information about Descript, post questions, answer them. You can get information about what's feature requests, that type of thing. So be sure to drop in on our Discord community and engage with us. Awesome. So just to wrap up our conversation today, so we were talking about our screen recorder. It's a free piece of Descript that teams can use. You can have a basic membership and easily capture and create screen recordings, whether it's your desktop or your webcam. We showed you the quick editor. We showed you how you can make some additional edits in a Descript project, how to get it out, how to share it, how to get it shared with your organization or to your YouTube channel. If there's anything that you'd like us to cover in the future, please reach out. We try to do webinars every week, and they're going to be posted. If you missed the first half of this, they're going to be shared on our YouTube channel under our webinars section. So please check out other webinars we've had. We've got one more question from Gibbs and Partners. Can I live stream from here? That's a cool idea. Brian, I don't think we have a live stream option. Is that right?
We do not. We do not.
Right. So the sort of workaround would be to create, something, just record and then post it, for like a asynchronous experience.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gotcha. But that's a great feature request.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another question from the Compounding Center. I usually record a Zoom, a webinar, and then use Descript to transcribe. Can I do it all in Descript?
That's a great question. So we actually have a Help Center article about that, where you can do that using the screen recording tool and using computer audio. I actually do not remember exactly offhand how to do that, but let's go find it right now in the Help Center. So I'm going to click on Help Center and then just type in Zoom. And
there's a number here. You can record directly, right? Or you can also just import an existing one too. So that's another option. But this is answering the question
Right.
we had here. Yeah.
Great.
Got it. So you just record each participant on a separate audio track.
Yes.
Nice. Very cool. And I think the last thing that it might be worth showing, I think if we go back to Descript one more time, Brian,
Yes.
and let's just create a brand new project.
Sure.
Could this just be a test here? When creating a new composition, you can either drag in an audio or video file. But I think now, if we try to add a new composition, we have an option. Is there a link option now?
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool. So this would be an option too if you have like a Zoom link, so you could easily import it with that shared link. Very cool. All right. Well, I think I'll try to wrap us up one more time, but these are excellent questions. Reach out to us through our chat. Go to help.descript.com. Join our Discord community. We're so glad to have had this time with you all today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you, Brian, for spending your time with us and sharing some insights from the engineering team.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you again, everyone, for joining, and tune in next week. Thanks, Alan. Have a wonderful